Do I still sound loud or I'm fine?
Sound good.
Okay.
Shit. All right, ready? We're live. Like we're live right now.
Yeah, I'm doing the link for the Instagram so people know that we're live. You know?
Yeah, that would help. That would help a lot. That would help a lot.
Plus, nobody really watches the beginning of this. One day we will, but today is not that day.
Like the first 10 seconds, we like 30 people just like it just keeps escalating from there. It just goes like from 30 to 100 and shit.
All right, and then I'm just doing Twitter real quick. Oh, you can just put it live to Twitter, right? Yeah, we're live on Twitter already. I don't need to tweet it. All right. Welcome, everyone, to episode 85 of the Gaming Duo podcast. I'm your host for this week, Rob Garcia, and I'm joined by co-host Kelvin Rolon. Kelvin, it's been a minute since we were on together. It's about 2 weeks.
As you were jumping on camels and riding camels, swinging through vines and shit, I'm over here holding it down. Rob, how you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And that's what you did. You did hold it down quite a bit. Guys, if you're joining us for the first time, we are the podcast that brings you the latest gaming news and have profound discussions about said news. Yeah. So Chazzy was here last week. He filled in my spot. If you guys don't know, I was on vacation in Africa for about 6 days, and it was freaking nuts over there. Like it was wild.
We want to hear it. So a good portion of this podcast is going to be dedicated to you talking about what happened in Africa, because I'm curious, everyone's curious, and to be fair, everyone, I have not talked to Robert regarding his trip. I've heard little details here and there, but I haven't really heard anything like crazy, so I'm interested to hear it, and I'm sure everybody else is.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into like huge details as far like every single thing.
No, I want to know everything.
No, I mean, it's a 7-hour flight, give or take, from New York, and we landed in Casablanca. And it's a beautiful city. It's around the coast, right? So you got all the beach right there. So kind of cheated. Like I was in Africa, but I was by the water, right? I was by the beach. So, whatever.
Gotcha.
But really nice city for the most part. You could tell that it's a newer city. They're doing a ton of construction, a lot of condos. And I've never seen so many stray dogs and cats in my entire life. It was insane, the amount of animals that were just stray dogs. It's like not a thing in America. It's weird. Like
right, yeah. Everywhere else you go, you notice like the little things that you don't have in America. I've noticed stray dogs plenty of times. I've weirdly enough, I've noticed stray cats, which was, it's like weird to, I don't know, for me it's like weird to see stray cats, like a lot of stray cats in a particular area. I just feel like it's weird to, like, I feel like cats aren't like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I've seen weird cats. I've
gotcha. Well, there was a ton there. There was a ton there as well. There was a ton of stray cats, and there was donkeys. Like there was donkeys and cars sharing the same road.
Yeah, I would consider that weird.
It was kind of weird, but it's more of a city that's becoming a bigger city. It's developed. It's actually I think the most developed city in Morocco right now.
Okay.
But where I saw the biggest like craziness was Marrakesh, which is the capital. It's the biggest city in Marrakesh. I believe that's where the king lives. They have a king, so
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it was like I was in Aladdin, like the movie. That's awesome. As far as like, everyone has like their little huts and they're selling their wares, and there's vendors on every single corner, and there's like little kitchens, like just there's so many people, and they're all walking around. They're sharing it with the cars, and there's no sidewalks. Those don't exist there. It's just like roads that the motorcycles and bikes share with the pedestrians. So basically you're just like trying to dodge motorcycles when you're crossing the road, and you always have to get out of the way when like motorcycles zoom by. And it's crazy. Like it's a wild, wild west out there. There's people riding motorcycles, like people carrying babies while driving a motorcycle.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It is nuts.
So pedestrians don't have the right of way. It seems like you're just kind of like in their way.
You're in their way. Yeah. If you're walking, you're in the motorcycle's way, and you have to get out of the way, or else you're going to get hit. So
I did see that you rode a camel.
I did ride a camel.
Tell us about that.
So we went to the desert, which was about 40 minutes away from Marrakesh, and we also were in the mountains. So the desert is actually right next to the mountains, and the camels, they're freaking tall. I didn't realize how tall they actually were until I got on, and all of a sudden I'm just so high up in the air. Like think of like a horse. Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yeah.
It's exactly like that, but you're just so much higher you're just so much more high up in the air.
I'd never thought about that. I never would have thought, oh, I'm so high up when I'm riding a camel. I feel like it's the equivalent of like riding an elephant. Have you rode an elephant before?
No, I never. Have you ridden an elephant? You rode an elephant? I haven't rode an elephant. Shut up.
I did, yeah. Well,
where?
So over here in Connecticut, we have what's called the Big E. It's like a fair.
Oh, okay.
And I mean,
it doesn't count.
It
that
counts.
Doesn't count. A fair elephant does
Tell
not
me
count.
how riding an elephant in a fair as opposed to anywhere else doesn't count.
Doesn't count. It's not in its natural environment. All right.
The point is, it's high. I felt high on that, so I feel like it's the equivalent of riding a camel.
Yeah. Now I was confused about the hump thing, right? The hump situation.
Me too. Yeah. Where are you gonna put your butt?
And all they do is they just put a cushion right on top of the hump. That's it.
Isn't it?
It's like a long cushion that just like goes on top, and you don't even notice it.
Is the hump? This is gonna be a stupid question. Is it like bone? What is it?
I think it's like water. I think it's water. I think it's where they store their water. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's probably fat or something. But I didn't even feel the hump as far as like sitting under it. So it was just like, honestly, it was just riding like a really tall horse. I know that doesn't sound like.
It doesn't sound interesting.
Yeah, but that's just that's.
Chazzy was throwing accusations here, saying that you rode a cheetah. Is that true?
No, because cheetahs, I don't think, live in Morocco. So he's very Chazzy. You were very wrong. It couldn't be.
I hope he said that. I'm pretty sure he said that. He said something. You were riding something.
No, I think he did say that. Yeah, I think I remember hearing when I was listening to you guys. Also, I didn't have any Wi-Fi at any point in the trip, and I got food poisoning for most of the trip, so I was dying.
Sounds like a great trip. Also, you told me you didn't have any sense of like there's no AC anywhere you stayed. There was like no central air.
They're called riads. They're like their hotels, and in the individual rooms, there's an AC unit in there. But we were only there for 2 days.
Oh, because temperature spiked up to like 105. You were showing me.
It was 108. Yeah, the hottest point of the time was 108, and there's no alcohol. They don't serve alcohol there.
Interesting.
Anywhere
I'm learning so much right now. Like, there's a lot. You're not learning anything about gaming related stuff right now, guys. But as far as like what Morocco entails, you're learning a lot. And
so, any restaurant you really go to, you can't order booze unless you're in like the beach, like where Casablanca was. There was like you could order alcohol there, but like if you just went to a normal restaurant, There's no alcohol section. It was very strange. And in Muslim culture, they don't really drink alcohol. So like when we went to get wine at the liquor store,
it was like frowned upon.
Yeah, like they didn't want to help us find a wine bottle opener. They were like being weird about it. They were like, no, like it's figure it out. Basically, they weren't pointing out exactly where it was to us. So that was really strange. I was open, that was something, but it made me appreciate living in America. We have it
sure. Every time
here.
You go, yeah,
we have it so good here. So guys, if you're ever thinking about like you have it bad at one day, you don't. Like you really don't.
I bet you don't.
No, we have it so good here. We're living the good life, and I honestly couldn't wait to come back. So I was like, wow, I'm glad I went. I'm 100% glad I went and had the experience, and it was eye opening. But I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't trade living over here for over there.
I thought the coolest part was you riding a camel. You looked cool. You looked dope as hell. You looked like one of the bad guys from Uncharted. You know what I mean?
So that they dress you up like that. Like you go and then like they do the whole thing and they wrap I forget what the name of the thing was, but everyone was super nice for the most part. Like Moroccans are super nice. There's a lot of haggle culture. So when you went to the vendors, you literally had to go back and forth on price. So if you wanted to buy something, that exchange could take like 5 to 10 minutes of just you trying to buy this thing. I actually bought like a Moroccan shirt and pants, and they're doing it right over there, man.
As far as what?
They are so comfy and light. So they're pretty much just wearing pajamas when they're walking around.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, man. And I am going to bring up some games right now, because I think I played while I was over there Chrono Trigger on my phone.
Yes. So this is one thing you did tell me during your trip. You were like, before you left, you were like, hey, you got to play Chrono Trigger. It's awesome. Like, I can't believe I've spent all these years not playing this game. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it out. And then halfway through your trip, you're like, yeah, don't play it. Specifically for me. Now what is that? And you wanted to wait for the podcast. Yes. So I'm interested to see what it is.
So Chrono Trigger, as a name implies, chrono being it's something to do with time, right? So throughout the game, in the set pieces, you're moving through time. You're going to different set pieces. So there's one point where you're in the like Renaissance period or like super old days. You're in the future, and things you do in there, basically the world will change depending on where you're. It's the same world, but you're going, different time.
Sure.
At a certain point, you hit the game. You can beat the game whenever you want. You can beat the final boss at any point in the game. And depending at what you do prior to beating that boss, will unlock an ending. There are, I think, 12 endings.
Done.
To the game.
I'm done. Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, no, that's not it. I actually lost a little bit of interest when I saw that. I was like, okay, 3 I get. Like good, bad, medium ending. Fine.
That should be an in-game chat. That's a good in-game chat.
Yeah.
Why are there so many endings, and is it necessary to have like multiple endings for a game?
Now, people might like that. People might like that they're actually able to control their destiny in a sense and control the destiny that they want. So I get why people like Chrono Trigger, but for me personally, I know for you, I don't like having to be like, I like the game being like, this is the way that they intended this is the ending, how it's supposed to end. There's no like, you have this ending and this ending and this ending. But as far as the game goes, the gameplay, it's so good. Like, it's a great RPG.
So I'm kind of like split. Should I buy it? Should I not? Should I just wait? I mean, how much longer do I wait?
Maybe wait for it to be on Steam for like $5 and pick it up.
Like $15 right now.
It's like $15. So maybe wait. Like, it's definitely a game you should try out and know what it is. But are you going to go out of your way to beat it? Are you going to try and get all 12 different endings?
No, absolutely
you're
not.
You're not doing that.
And that's it. I don't care what shitty ending I get. I'm not going to play it again. What I mean?
I actually got one ending. I actually went to go fight the boss right away.
Yeah.
And I died. And that was one.
And then you get an ending.
And then that's the ending. It's like you lost and the world explodes or something. So
it's dark.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
I don't know if I like that.
But did you know that the creator of that game or the artist of that game is the same artist that did Dragon Ball Z?
I feel like I knew that, but it wasn't.
Know that.
I feel like I did. I feel like I heard that somewhere, and that's why I've always had Chrono Trigger. Like we've always heard about Chrono Trigger, right? But it's never been something a topic of discussion. It's never been something that we wanted to play. But that was one of the key things that I remember. This has been years ago, I'm sure. That I heard about. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That somebody made like some. I knew about that in some weird way, but it still didn't give me that drive to play the game.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see this game remade. I think if this game got remade, it would be
with
bonkers.
One ending. I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm all for it. Now, question for you. So when Chrono Trigger, you beat it, or you haven't finished it yet.
I haven't finished it. I haven't technically finished it yet. No, I haven't got any of the endings except the one where.
So multiple endings, but do you have multiple characters that you can choose from? Is it just one set character that you're playing as, or how does that work?
So you can carry only 3 people in your party at a given time. Right now, at the point, there was 5 characters that I was in my party, and then you can switch them out whenever you want. So, I mean, you're controlling the one character. His name's Chrono, the guy with the red hair. That looks like a Dragon Ball Z character. Yeah. He is the main character. That's who you take control of.
Okay. So you control one main character, but then you're obviously in your party, you can control anybody in your party.
Yeah. It's just like a traditional
normal traditional RPG. My thing is with some RPGs that I've been playing and that I've played in the past, I don't know. And I'm probably like a stickler for these things, but I don't like when you start the game and they ask you to choose your type of character that you want to be. So so they have like different stories for each character that they have. Say they have like 5 different characters that you can choose from. Each one has a different like storyline. That to me is the same thing as getting 5 different endings.
Right.
Because I have to play it 5 different times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, you play it 5 different times with those 5 different characters, the story doesn't change that much, like for the most part.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like I'm in the same boat where I like having just tell me how the story ends. Like I just like God of War, Last of Us. There's one outcome. And that's it. There's no. They do it so you replay the game multiple times, right?
But it actually does the opposite. It makes me lose interest in the game.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And as far as you, sir, what have you been playing while I was gone?
What I've been playing, I played a little bit more of Resident Evil 3. I don't think I mentioned that actually in the last episode. I have been playing.
Yeah, you have. You did say that. You did say that. I was obviously. I started playing it as well. I picked it up. Oh no, I downloaded it on my Steam Deck, and it's crazy how well it works on Steam Deck. It's ridiculous.
Stupid crazy. It's crazy. It's great. It's great on Steam Deck. So don't let it deter you from it saying like it's not compatible. It works. It does play. You can play it, and it works perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm having a blast with Resident Evil 3. It's just kind of like comfort food right now because we've played Resident Evil 4, we played Resident Evil 2 remake, so it's just nice to play and to kind of do those things. And then I'm also continuing Multiverses. I'm still playing that. That's really it right now. I'm still I'm done with the whole, I don't know what to play anymore. I'm just like this old grumpy man. And I'm like, I don't want to play games. Like, I'm done with that. You know what I mean? And Chazzy and I spoke about that last episode.
Yeah.
But I'm in a good place right now. But right now, those are the 2 games that I'm currently playing. I'm still itching to play something else, but I just don't have the time.
Right, exactly. I mean, poor Horizon. Rest in peace.
Poor Horizon. Rest in peace.
I'll try. I want to play Valhalla because it's free on PlayStation Plus extra. And I'm like, I can't. There's just how am I going to do it?
What game?
Valhalla, Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yes, yeah. yes.
So there's a ton of games again that I want to play.
And there's plenty that are coming now. So I'm like, rest in peace, Horizon.
Right, exactly. Yeah, seriously. But we got a shit ton of game news.
We got a shit.
We have one metric shit ton of gaming news this week because for news number 1. A Hideo Kojima podcast, a Bloodborne-inspired Pinocchio game, Gamescom 2022 opening night. So Gamescom's happening this week right now. Currently, Xbox just showcased today, but we're gonna just go through our favorite announcements that happened throughout the year because we could sit here all day, man, and just go through every single thing, right?
Now, did you watch Xbox?
I did. I actually, I didn't like watch the full thing because it's 4 hours long, but
anything worthwhile?
They kind of went through is it Liza P? They actually showed more gameplay.
They did. Okay.
They did for that.
That's coming out Game Pass day one, so that's cool.
Yeah. They had Minecraft Warriors. They had Microsoft Flight Simulator. Nothing that was like you didn't know about. It was kind of titles we all kind of knew about already. Mm-hmm. So no crazy announcements from them. So that was kind of surprising that they didn't have any new announcements. It was just more of like talking to the developers and just them talking about the games that are coming out for it. Sure. So, well, let's go down through the list as far as like what we thought was pretty awesome to see. So we have a Dune Awakening announcement trailer, which is basically Dune is going to Dune MMO. Like that's pretty slick. We had a Callisto Protocol new trailer. We had Lords of the Fallen, Hogwarts Legacy new trailer. So everything's going to be a new trailer, by the way. Destiny 2 Lightfall reveal. We had Sonic Frontiers new trailer plus a release date for November 8th, that's right on the corner, which is awesome. Liza P, which we just talked about, that's coming to Game Pass day 1.
2023.
Yeah. Atlas Fallen. Gotham Knights trailer. It's a villain trailer, so you actually get to see the villains. Phantom Hellcat. Hideo Kojima announces that he's going to have a new podcast. We have a scary game called X War Trauma, which takes place in World War. And Bloober Team's Layers of Fear. So do you want to just kind of go through these one by one and just tell me how you feel about each thing?
We could.
Let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, Kel. Dune Awakening announcement trailer. There wasn't any gameplay shown for this. It's always hard to like say things about that stuff when you don't see the actual like meat and potatoes, right, of the thing. So are you excited for this at all? I know you're not an MMO guy, but they look cool.
Not an MMO guy for sure, but I honestly I don't know if I'm excited. I didn't see the movie, which this kind of
you didn't see the movie?
Not yet. I can watch
so
it whenever
good.
I want.
Watch it. So good.
I just haven't watched it. I don't know. There's something about it's just I wanna like sit down, have the place to myself, and trying to see if I can get the video here. Oh, and then and just kind of make sure I have like just the house to myself, basically, right?
Okay. Alurs doesn't want to watch it.
I doubt it. No, that's not.
She would. I think she'd like it. Jess loved it. Yeah, really? Jess loved it. So,
as far as the trailer goes, though, I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy this or not because one, you said it, MMO, right? I'm not a huge MMO fan, but also I just don't feel like there was enough there for me to even be excited about. Like CGI trailer, cool,
right?
Trailer looks nifty, looks different, looks nice, but it's pretty. But other than that, it doesn't give me much of like what am I gonna do? What am I gonna experience in this game? You know, so there's not much for us to get, and I get it. It's a brand new trailer. It's an announcement trailer, so there's not going to be a lot there. But for those that watch the show, or for those that watch the movie, I'm sure that they can kind of grab little things here and there from the trailer that are like, oh shit, this is going to be in the game. Or like, oh shit, this is going to be cool. For me, I just haven't seen the movie yet to kind of really make that comparison. What about you? Since you did see the show, the movie.
Yeah, movie's great. Go watch it when you have the chance.
Mm-hmm.
But MMOs. I like MMOs. I'm not really into them because I know of what entails with MMOs. Like they take a lot of your time. Here's the thing, Gil, with MMOs. You are worried about like, oh, I don't have time to play this game and this game and this game and this game and this game.
Right.
That goes, you don't have to worry about that anymore with MMOs. That is the only game you want to play when you're doing an MMO. Like that is it. That's you log on, you're like, all right, what am I going to play? All right, I'm going to jump on WoW or Guild Wars or something like that, and that's the game you play. Like that is the one thing I could say that I love about MMOs is like you don't really think about other games. You think about that's kind of the game you play, and that's it because you're paying $15 a month for it. You know?
Yeah, I think my only thing is if I don't have time to play it and I come back a month after, I just feel like I'm so out of the loop, and the lore, whatever lore I'm trying to play. Say Destiny, for example, right? Destiny's a perfect example. We played Destiny 2 day one, right? We bought that game day one, I believe.
Right. But you don't know.
We fell off. And for us to come back into it, there's so many DLC, there's so much like story and lore that we haven't even touched or understand.
So you're afraid to be like overwhelmed.
It's overwhelming in a sense. And I feel like if you go in it, just kind of throw yourself in there, it's just going to be too much. There's going to be new things, new gadgets and new updates that you're just going to be like, wait, what's going on? Like that's my opinion. But again, it just depends on the MMO. And that's why for me, it's hard to go back into those games because I'm like, well, if I dip my toes in it once and now I come back into it, it's going to be a whole different experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of the commitment for me. It's like if I want to play it, I'm going to play it for a while. Like I just don't want to pick it up. You can't pick it up for an hour and then that'd be it, done with it. You have to dedicate a little bit of time to do it. So that's where I'm at. But as far as Dune goes, I don't know. We don't have any gameplay to go off of, so I can't really say much. But we did see gameplay for Callisto Protocol.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, man. I actually did not see the trailer. So if you want to start playing in the background, I could just kind of see in the background. But what did you think so far? What do you think so far of this game? I know that you love it.
I was already sold the first like 10 minutes of it.
Okay.
This trailer, they kind of showed a two-parter in this trailer. Doesn't really do too much for me. I feel like I've seen enough of this game where I'm just like, I don't need to see anymore. I know what I'm gonna get myself into. This is Dead Space in a different, like, fresh coat of paint, and I'm ready to play it. I don't want to see anything else, essentially, you know. So although what I saw was nice, it's cool. Like you can see right here, it kind of reminds you of The Last of Us, sort of here.
Right, like Last of Us and Dead Space put together.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's pretty. It's gorgeous, and I think it's going to be a fantastic time. I just don't need to see any more. The game's coming out very soon. It's coming out, I think, next month or November or something like that. So I'm okay to just kind of hold back and not watch these trailers anymore. But what do you think? What do you think of the trailer so far? And what's your overall impressions right now with Callisto Protocol?
It's a lot more action packed than I thought it was going to be. Right, like you said, you're just kind of like going through the mobs and shooting them and stuff like that. So there's not really a lot of like hide and seek going on like Dead Space was. At first, I was like, this is literally Dead Space. And now as I'm watching, going through, I'm like, there's slight differences of Dead Space in this. But it looks like the suit has no head.
Yeah, he keeps going. It's wild, man, and it's definitely gory. This game is. He just ripped his ripped his arm off. I'm pretty sure
he just regenerated. Is that what it looked like? Yeah,
is that what he did?
Yeah, he just regenerated. But like the fact that like this is so action packed, like you're literally using your psychic powers to move him all the way to the little spinny spiky thing to kill him and stuff like that. Is pretty crazy.
So this is the second part to the trailer, and this one I wasn't too impressed. Seemed very gimmicky. This is one of those where like you're sliding down, and for those listening, you're just kind of like swamped.
It's like
swept up with water, and you're just going down a pipe, and now you're just kind of like trying to control the character as he's sliding down this like river of like water right now,
like Uncharted or like Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it just seems very on rails, very like gimmicky, very like we've done this, we've seen this before kind of thing, and this goes on for the whole trailer. Until spoilers, he dies. So it's gonna be pretty brutal for those that haven't watched it. But yeah, so again, I don't need to see this. Like I know what this entails. I'm ready for it. This section here, I'm like, I can kind of do without, but whatever. Like it keeps going. It just keeps.
It's too long. It's like yeah. I'm already over it. Do we have a release date yet for it or no?
Yeah, I think we do. It's November. I want to say it's November. Let me check it out.
That sounds about right. Oh my god, he really does die. Okay, yeah, he's real. They really. How is this game not Dead Space? This is Dead Space.
It's December 2nd.
Okay,
so close, but yeah, again, a few months away. I can definitely wait for that. So,
all right, and then we have we'll move on for that one, but we have Lords of the Fallen.
Yes.
How do you feel about that one?
This one. Just it's kind of like a Bloodborne or not Bloodborne or just like an Elden Ring game. In my opinion, it just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed like an Elden Ring kind of game. But it was weird because although it was a CGI trailer, it just felt very, I don't know, it just felt generic in a way too. Like it has like Elden Ring elements, but it doesn't at the same time, and then the music that he chose for this just kind of felt off. I don't know. I don't know what to really expect from this game so far. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, like with the CGI trailers, we don't know. I like the lore; it seems pretty cool. But from what I read here, it seems like you're gonna have to create your own hero before you tackle the single player campaign. So maybe it's gonna be one of those where you were talking about at the beginning, where is it more of Elden Ring? Is it Dark Soulsy? Is it third person? Is it like what is this game? You know?
Right. And again, we don't know much. We can't really tell based off of the CGI trailer. So a lot of these announcements are kind of just announcement trailers, right? And so we're kind of seeing their vision, but we don't know how it's actually going to look like gameplay and running on a system.
Yeah. We have Hogwarts Legacy, Sebastian Salazar Legacy. So that looks. I'm excited for this game, honestly.
Yeah.
This is more story.
This is more for you. I feel like this is like, so you've seen a few trailers for this game. Did this one do the trick for you? Is this one like, yeah, I'm sold, I'm buying this day one, or you're still kind of like weary?
I'm still weary. I'm not, like I said, I like Harry Potter, but I'm not like the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world. So this one for me, it's going to take a little bit to warm up to. Like if I have a bunch of friends that are obviously going to get it, we're all going to jump in and play. I think it would be fun, but it's one of those things where like maybe I'll see a couple people playing it before I actually jump in and play and I get their thoughts, like like actual references. I don't want to just jump in because it's not going to be free to play. I don't think. Right. I think it's going to be.
No. This is you're paying for this. For sure.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, again, this is another kind of like MMO kind of deal. I know you're not the biggest fan of that, but I think you can appreciate what they're kind of doing with the.
Series. This looks gorgeous. It looks very.
Looks polished.
It looks polished, but it also is very like reminiscent of like watching Hogwarts, watching like Harry Potter, like the movie, you know, like it's very tied close to the movies as far as like the visual standpoints, right? And it looks great. I think people that are fans of this game are gonna love, you know, just kind of seeing their characters that they want to be. And the cool thing is you can customize your character. You can kind of like be your own, you know, sorcerer or whatever they call Harry Potter people. Wizard, thank you. And it just looks cool. It looks cool. I will admit, I do like the flying with the little broom thing. That's pretty cool. I'm sure you can play like that game that you can play in Harry Potter. I'm sounding like really stupid when it comes to Harry Potter because
no, you're good. You're good.
But,
you're fine.
But it from a person that doesn't watch Harry Potter, it looks cool. It looks like a very to the core audience of where they're trying to sell this for. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Chazzy is writing in saying, I know you moved on topic, but Lords of the Fallen, I haven't seen that trailer, but is it a sequel? Because I know Lords of the Fallen came out in 2014. I believe it is on Game Pass. Sir, I am not sure. This is the first time I've heard of this game. When I went to click on the YouTube video for it, it did say 2014. So I'm not sure if this is one of those games that was supposed to come out, or he said, I think he played it, so tried it. It's an RPG, seemed more on the difficult side. I don't know if it's a Dark Souls like particular or not. I did not play enough of it. So this could be either a remaster,
maybe
of some sort, or a sequel.
It's just weird. If it's a remaster, why would they show a CGI trailer of it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I feel like they would have tried to make it visually impressive and kind of just show what the game is capable of and try to kind of compare and contrast the 2014 version if that was the case.
Right.
So maybe it is a sequel.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip around a little bit here with some of these games.
You're not skipping Sonic, bro.
I'm not skipping Sonic. I'm not skipping Sonic. But yeah, we got a new story trailer for Sonic Frontiers, and then we got the release date for it, which is again this fall. We're screwed. So many games coming out.
This is interesting. I want your take on Sonic, because Sonic, we've talked about this. We've talked about this with Chazzy, and this is the first time. This trailer, a Sonic trailer for Sonic Frontier, has actually kind of made me slightly interested in the game. What about you?
So it's
there's
still,
more in this. You know what I mean?
There's more in this, but it's still there's still something missing. There's still something that makes it seem empty, and I don't know like I think they're just showing like this desert land right here, but like what is around there? Like, and it's just
Right.
Sonic. I don't really see enemies bouncing around or anything like that. So is it Amy's in this? Apparently, I guess she's like trapped somewhere, and the enemies look generic
The enemies do
to me.
look generic, but look at this. After that part here, it actually shows really interesting environments and actually like full-fledged like open concepts that I actually am excited to see and to play. This part not so much, but what I'm talking about is when they get into like the actual like other part of the game here. It'll show in a second. It looked interesting. It looked like, okay, maybe the worlds are fleshed out. And just looking at this trailer right now, looking at the cutscene, I'm like, does Sonic have like this lore like going on? Is there like a deep like like story involved in Sonic right now? Like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I think this definitely makes me more excited for the game. Um, I'm not 100% sold that this is going to be like game of the year, right? But
Yeah.
I think it'll be like passable. That's where I'm at. I think it'll be passable. It'll be fun. It'll be a fine game. I don't think it's going to be a great game by any means, but this reinforced a little more that there will be some stuff in there. But
yeah, and I
to
agree
me,
with
not enough.
Chazzy. Chazzy says it's even more Breath of the Wild inspired. So yeah, based off of that trailer, it does look more kind of more equivalent to what Breath of the Wild was trying to do or did do. So it's again, I'm not expecting too much. I feel like this is one of those things that Sega is like, we're just releasing this game. I think this game is coming out the day of or the week of God of War. Am I
Good
right?
luck. Rest in peace, Sonic.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like they don't give a fuck. They're like, you know what? Oh, God of War's coming out. Bet. Let's see. I'm sure Sonic can beat them. Like I just feel like this is just like a hey, we need to throw this game out there because whatever as far as like marketing or as far as like they have to meet their quota or something. But they're just like we're shipping this out whether you guys like it or not. And it's sad, but it is.
You got to remember too, though, like Sonic's core audience is kids
that don't give a fuck.
Kids, yeah, exactly. Kids that are going to be playing, like their parents are not going to go to day one and buy God of War for like little Johnny who's 5 years old. Like that's just not happening. So this will be kind of like a different audience for them versus like us, So yeah, I'm excited for Sonic as always, but this game looks freaking sick. Lies of P.
Yes, Lies of P. That I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this.
Is this Bloodborne Light? Because that's what it looks like to me.
This is Bloodborne with a twist of Pinocchio, bro.
Yeah,
with a twist of Pinocchio. This is.
They should just call this game Bloodborne. They should just call this game Lies of Bloodborne because that's literally this is it. Like I like the art style that they're going for here. Now, is this? I never heard of this studio, NeoWiz Games.
I don't.
Is this an indie game? Is this a full-fledged game? Is this like what is this? Do you know?
I don't know. I've never heard of them. All I know is that I think they're an Asian company, from what I understand. So I don't know anything else about them. So I think they're Chinese, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, from what it looks like, this game does look pretty AAA, at least, and it has very, very close resemblance to Bloodborne. Like just the way you move, the way the characters move, even the environments in the background, like it just has.
Even the way you pick up items, like that's the biggest thing for me. Like the way you pick up items and how they show up is you have a guard, which is pretty cool. You actually didn't really have a guard in Bloodborne, you had the little gun. So this, I'm surprised to really get away from this because this is like super close to that. Like, but I'm sure as it goes on.
I mean, Callisto Protocol says hi.
Right, exactly. Like,
but it looks, I mean, but so what's interesting about this game is not the fact that it is Bloodborne-esque, right? It's the fact that, in my opinion, it's the fact that it's a story of Pinocchio. It has Pinocchio characters, obviously not in line with like what Disney has made, right? But just it's a Pinocchio game.
Yeah,
but in a Bloodborne setting, which is bizarre to me. Like those two senses should not be matching together. You know what I mean?
But it works well here. It does work well here.
That's what gets you like invested. I'm like, huh, really? This is a Pinocchio game, but it's like this is how they're making a Pinocchio game.
Yeah, and this is going to be creepy.
I think it's pretty stellar, yeah.
Because it's like they're gonna have like these mannequins, like basically, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this is unsettling. I guess that's a good way to put the word is. It's this game looks very, very unsettling right now.
I just love that they're like they don't give a fuck. They're just like, you know what? Let's just make this wild ass game and see if it clicks, see if it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this. As soon as I saw it, I was like, shit, like this might be like a day one for me. Actually, I have no choice because it's day one on Game Pass.
It's Game Pass, buddy. So you could just get it and try it out and see if you like it. And if you don't, you know, it is what it is.
It's gonna scratch this itch for you, Kelv. You know?
I don't know. I mean, this is better than nothing, I guess, for Bloodborne. But will it control the same way? Will it have that like fleshed out, proper, like just the way Bloodborne feels? Like, would it be that pristine? You know?
Oh, he died.
That sucks.
See, literally, like Dark Souls. Like this is freaking Dark Souls.
And Chazzy says he's intrigued for sure. So I mean, it does look interesting. You know, it does look interesting. So I'm interested. I think 2023 is the release date for this. So it's not too far off. We're not sure when it actually comes out, but I mean, it looks dope, man. It looks dope. I'm interested. Is this Pinocchio? Do we know?
I don't think that's Pinocchio. I don't think that's Pinocchio.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Regardless, it's a pretty cool take on his lore, right?
Yeah.
Gotham Knights trailer. This made you excited Does this make you excited? Yes, it did.
This was the best trailer thus far. The best trailer thus far to actually show Gotham Knights, and I'm interested to see what Chazzy thinks about this, because it's been a rocky, in my opinion, it's been kind of rocky for this game because, again, initially I thought the game was like amazing. It looked dope. It had a great concept. And then when we started seeing trickling gameplay and just kind of like more gameplay and more footage was trying to trickling in, I'm just like, oof, I don't know. There's something off about this. I don't know if it's the gameplay. I don't know if it's just like the characters. Something is weird. And this has been the first trailer where I'm like, okay, I can see where they're going at. I can kind of understand how it's going to play. I see more of what we're going to be doing. And it's got me a little bit more interested. I just hope that it doesn't fall flat on the story, because I think the story is going to be the real high note in this. It's going to be a lot about the Court of Owls, and it's just going to make it, again, it's a different take because Batman is kind of like removed from
MIA,
this, you know.
Yeah.
It's Emma. He's dead eventually. Essentially, he's dead in this game. So, is he going to stay dead? That's a different story, right? Like, is he going to be dead in the beginning and then come back in the end, or
help? Yeah,
whatever.
I'm hoping he does.
I don't think they do that. I hope they don't. But I think, again, different take on the DC universe. It's cool because you can play co-op. You know, you can play and we can try out, see how things are. I want to see, to really get my attention, I want to see the open world. I want to see the map. I want to see what I can just do and just play around. I just hope I wish they made a trailer so that you can just kind of like see what they're doing, just like hopping around different missions and doing stuff like that. Then I'll get a better feel of like how this game's going to play.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm usually not a hopeful person, but I think they have a lot of games to look at to make this successful. They've had Rocksteady's, Batman games. They've had all of the Marvel games coming out, the Spider-Man's, the Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a lot of examples in front of them to use, so that way this game can be decent. So
right.
I think there's just way too many things out there for them, like inspiration to use, for them to fall flat. So, and if they still do, I'm like, it's already there. Like it's already mapped out for you. Like these are the things you have to do so people enjoy this type of game. So this trailer definitely made me seem like this game is going to be better as far as like story.
Yeah. And they also said that the game is releasing a little bit earlier, I think 4 days earlier, which is, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. October is perfect time. It's like Halloween-ish time. I think it's a perfect time to play like a Batman game. So maybe this will be like a surprise, a pleasant surprise to everyone. Yeah. So
for sure.
Okay.
Chazzy says, real quick before we move on, am I playing it though? Regardless, yes. Will I enjoy it? We'll see. And that's exactly where I'm at. I'm gonna probably play this, especially if in the October. I mean, we'll see. But I think if I do play it, it's just a matter of will I enjoy it, you know?
Right.
I just feel like some of the characters, Deadshot, I don't know, some of them just don't feel like they play right, you know?
Red Hood, you mean?
Oh, Red Hood. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did.
sorry,
He
Red
played.
Hood.
He was
plays
funny.
weird. I feel like he plays weird, and I think that it just depends on how the characters are going to play. You know, so Batgirl might be my girl. I don't know.
We'll of course. Speaking of Batgirl, rest in peace, Batgirl movie. Heard you guys talking about Jesus.
that.
Yeah. So probably one of the biggest piece of news to come out of this, and I think we might end it on here with Gamescom, is Hiro Koshima's podcast. So going into this, everyone thought like Metal Gear.
Oh yeah,
Metal Gear, and no, but still pretty exciting that he's doing a podcast, and it seems like he's gonna have like developers on it. It's just gonna be. It seems like a gaming podcast, right?
We don't know. He's making a podcast. I'm not really sure about what. I mean, he kind of hints at it because Jeff is going to be, I guess, not involved, but he's going to be sharing different kind of like information, I guess, part of his podcast. But we don't know much about it, honestly. It's just a wild. We live in a world where like Hideo Kojima is making a podcast. Like what? You know what I mean? Like that's wild. But I'm already down. Like, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna listen to this, and I'm gonna see what he has to say.
It's funny. I was reading comments about this, and people weren't like, they were obviously upset that Metal Gear wasn't a thing, but the fact that he can just come on and just be like, I'm making a podcast, and that's the announcement, and that's it, and you're still like okay with it is actually pretty funny. Like he's one of the few people that can actually like pull that off and people not be like upset. That's like if someone from Nintendo came like, we're making a podcast for today, there's actually a new Mario game going out, you'd be like, what the hell, guys? But for Hideo, you can do whatever.
I don't know, man. I don't see that. I don't really see that. I feel like a lot of people, like such as ourselves, see that as like oh shit, that's dope. Like I think
but I can see people that are hardcore to games that are just like, I want just the games. Like I don't care about that podcast shit.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But those that are really infatuated by Hideo Kojima's work and just like in the gaming industry in general, that they want more information, I think that's perfect. I don't know what this is going to entail, but maybe he is going to do something about like gaming and gaming development and how that is and what he's worked on and what hasn't, like what's fell through the cracks and little insights of like Hideo Kojima himself. And like the podcast is called like, what is it called? Brain Up, like, I don't know, something about brain. I don't know.
Brain of Hideo Kojima. Just kidding.
Brain of Hideo. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. And so it's just going to be like, are we going to get insight of like what Hideo Kojima thinks about and like what his passion is and all that stuff? Like, that's cool, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to curious to see, like he says, it's going to be available like in English as well.
Yeah.
Like who's going to do the translation for him? Like who's that person that's going to be translating that podcast? You know, like I feel like it's going to be kind of weird. Like you're going to have him speaking, obviously his native language in Japanese in the podcast, but then when they move it over to English, how are they doing that?
It'll be a translator.
It's a translator. Okay.
I guess. My guess. It is weird though, hearing it in like a podcast form. Chazzy says, can't he not make Metal Gear Solid games? Doesn't he not have the rights? Would he have to go back with Konami to do so? Short answer, yes. Basically, he does not have the rights to Metal Gear Solid. Konami does. He worked on Metal Gear Solid, and that was his like his bread and butter. That was like his baby. But obviously, he no longer works there, so he has no rights or nothing ties to Metal Gear Solid, unfortunately, which is a bummer for me. But going back to the podcast thing, though, I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool. And just to kind of throw in a little bit tidbit more information, Sakurai is throwing in, he's making a YouTube channel, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, I did read that.
It's really cool to see these like top tier developers kind of going their separate ways a little bit and just kind of doing the things that they want to do and just kind of like fun little stuff. Now, Sakurai is going to be doing a YouTube channel and it's going to be focusing on gaming development and just like helping not only us like as just like casual gamers and gamers in general, just kind of seeing like inside of like the mind of Sakurai and seeing like what game development really is. He's going to give us some insight on Smash Brothers and all that stuff, but he's also going to be helping developers and small indie developers that are interested in becoming, like a full-fledged developer at some point, just kind of see what it takes to be a developer. So I think that's really cool that he's doing that. You should definitely check out his YouTube channel. It's really fun to watch, and I'm excited for both of these two. Really excited.
Yeah, and especially for Sakurai, him doing the Smash Directs, right? The way he presented, the way he did, the way he was so comfortable in front of the camera. It was like he was born to do that thing. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna kill it, because every time you see him and him just like sitting in his like mannerism and smiling, and you're having a good time. So it's like perfect YouTuber mentality. What he has. So yeah, as far as Gamescoms go, I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about? I know like there was a decent amount of game, but it's not like an E3 in a sense. Like there is a ton of stuff, but it's kind of stuff we already know is coming out. It's just more supplemental, I feel like, for Gamescom. There are some pleasant surprises, but like big, huge announcements weren't really here. You know?
Yeah. A lot of like announcement trailers that we've not seen before. A lot of things missing, right? Sony, Microsoft, just a lot of we'll talk about Sony in a bit, but there were just a lot of games that we're just kind of waiting on that we don't have information on. Hellblade, right? And so on Sony side, we don't know anything what's happening on Sony side. So
right,
it was fine for what it was, but I definitely thought it could have been better.
Yeah, me too. I think it could have been a little better done, but at this point, I'll take what I can get, right, with anything gaming related. So it's still going on. I think we have one more day of it or something like that of Gamescom, but I think a lot of the meat potatoes has already been out. With that said, let's move on to news number 2. Sony announces PSVR2 is coming next year.
Yep.
And we get a new PS5 controller.
Yes.
Just before Gamescom,
let's go.
Sony posted on Twitter a image of the PSVR2 with release date of early 2023. That's all. That's it. There's like it's coming out. So pretty awesome. But we also got on opening night, Sony also announced a new customizable controller called the DualSense Edge. It has ultra customizable controls, allowing you to remap and deactivate buttons, inputs, and fine-tune your aim. You can save multiple control profiles, and you can change the stick caps and the back buttons. It'll also have the haptic feedback, and the adaptive triggers from the regular DualSense. So basically, in a nutshell, this is their answer to the Xbox Elite Pro controller.
Yes.
Kel, before you talk about the controller, because I know you're gonna, fucking
go all in.
You're just gonna go in. PSVR. You're like whatever about it? Are you like excited? You're just like...
I don't know. I'm not a huge VR guy. I haven't been, and to be fair, I haven't really had a chance to play VR. I haven't had a chance to actually use a full-fledged headset like for a good amount of time. So to me, I'm like, we'll see how this goes. I'm excited for people that are excited for a PlayStation VR 2. And I just got to see the games. I got to see what the PlayStation VR is capable of. And I think what really bums me out is the fact that they couldn't have. I feel like they could have done this, but they decided not to. It's still a wired headset. It's one cable now instead of like the bajillion other cables that the first one had. But it's still wired, and I just feel like to have a VR headset, you want to be wireless. You want to not be tied to something, and that kind of kills the illusion for me. So I'm just waiting and hoping that maybe they have another iteration at some point that's completely wireless. Then I'll be like, all right, maybe this is the time for me to jump in. And again, I got to see the games. The games are very important when it comes to VR, like specific games. And are Sony's AAA developers going to be on this? Is Naughty Dog going to do something? Is Insomniac going to do something?
I already saw Horizon. It's going to be
Horizon, but to be honest, when we saw that, I wasn't really that impressed. I didn't think it was that great. Also, another thing about PlayStation VR, seeing like just the hands Like when you just see the hands
yeah,
of
I mean
something,
that's
kinda,
like all VR for the most
it
part.
throws
Like,
me off.
it's just
I'm just it's to me it just breaks down. I'm not the guy for. I'm not the audience. It seems like I'm just not the audience for this, but there's a ton of people that are. So
right, so it's not a day one for you, right? As of right now.
this is expected though for 2023. I didn't think it was going to come out this year at all. I thought it was going to be delayed. Pricing wise, we don't know anything about that. I'm interested to see what the price is, especially with
$300-400, I think.
I would think so.
Yeah,
I think it's maybe even a little bit higher, depending. I know Sony announced today or yesterday that they're bumping up the price for PS5 in like Europe, Africa,
everywhere basically
so
except the US, which is
because
crazy
of inflation and all that stuff. So who knows? Maybe this could be a $450 tier like price tag.
Yeah, I don't know. I really hope they kind of keep the cost low, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that controller, how much do you think the controller is going to cost?
That controller is very sexy. I will say that.
Is it going to be heavier? Is it going to be like metal, or is it going to be kind of the same materials, or do you think it's going to be better materials?
I don't know. CJ brings up a good point. He said hopefully it's cheaper than the SCUF controller. How much are SCUF controllers?
So yeah, how much are SCUF controllers? PS5. A SCUF controller looks like they run for $230, I want to say.
Damn.
Yeah, $220 for a SCUF controller. Okay. I'm gonna say that when the Elite controller came out, I think it was $200. The Elite 2 was $200. I can't see them charging $200 for this thing. I can't see it. That's just too much money. I think 150 tops is.
I was gonna say 150. Yeah,
tops.
I think it has to be. That's the sweet spot. 150. Anything more, 180 is even pushing it, but I can definitely see them kind of pushing it to 180. But shit, man, like 150. I would say 150 tops.
So here's the thing: it's you have to feel the difference in the controller, right? When you pick up an Elite 2 controller compared to a regular Xbox controller, you feel the difference. You feel the difference. You feel the money. You feel the extra money, right? That has to be the same thing. When you already hold a PS5 controller, it already feels like money. Like it feels like a premium thing. So now this thing's gonna feel even more premium to that. I don't know. So
I think I mean, as far as the weight goes, I don't think it's going to change. Or it could, but I don't think so. Maybe because of the pads, the paddles in the back, it might feel a little bit different. But I mean, again, that looks sexy, dude. That controller looks nice. I like how it has like the glossy look to it in the middle, and the fact that we're getting a premium like Pro, I'm going to call it the Pro controller for the PS5. It's a big step because a lot of people have been asking for a Pro controller PS5. Now just give us the option to like really customize our controller like how Xbox does. I think that would be lit. If I can like put like my if I can put the Gaming Duo podcast on mine, or I can change the color, or I can like add whatever I want with it, change like the dual the analog sticks a different color, whatever I want to do with it, I can essentially do. That'd be cool. I don't think they're quite there yet, but this is a good step forward this is a good step in the right direction for that.
Yeah, they have this. I think SCUF and another brand that does it for you for the PS5 controller. But as soon as I saw this, I was like, Kelvin's gonna buy that. Like that's already done.
Yeah,
like it's already paid for it. The pre-order's already set. Like he's again, this is one thing that I'll probably hold yours and be like, okay, yep, I need this thing. Will
you get it though? Or I don't know. I feel like you're not really like a big, like huge Sony fan for you to like really invest that much money, especially if you're not even using that controller for your PC. If it was being used on your PC, then you're like, okay, maybe. But you already have your Xbox controller. So
yeah, my Xbox controller for my PC. Right now, I don't play enough PS5 to justify it.
Right.
I don't play enough PS5 like even for like competitive games like shooters and stuff like that. Like all that. I don't play it. Like maybe if I started picking up and playing those games on my PS5, then I think about it. But if it's just me playing like a single player game, hell no. Like I don't need that for what it is. But I know it's nice. I know it's like a luxury item. So
yeah. Real quick before we move on, Chazzy says if Sony went with a 130 to 150 price tag, they'd be winning. But with the price increasing everywhere in the world with consoles, maybe not. And again, that's exactly what we said. I don't know if it's going to be a little bit inflated because of, Sony kind of upping up their price tag for the PS5. That could mean, bad things for the controller, for the PlayStation VR2 headset. So I don't know, man. It's tough. I would want them to at least hit the 150 mark. But if they hit that 180, 200, I'm like, oof, like that. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be 200. I think it's going to be the price. That's what I think the price will be. CJ, that actually is horrible. Their warranty is only 6 months. So like controllers don't give out till like at least a year, unless you're like throwing the controller across the room and rage. That's actually a really bad warranty for scuffs. I'm hoping Sony's manufacturer's warranty will actually be longer than that. At least a year.
At least a year. So, yeah.
So even if this thing's $200, you're getting it?
No. I'll wait till the price drops. I have, but I have 3 controllers.
You have 3. You have 3 right now?
I have 3. I have one black and the other 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I swap between them. Like one dies, I charge it, just swap the other one.
You only need 2. I have 2. Like that's what I do. I just
I know. But the black one, I was like, I gotta get the black one. You know what I mean? Like it just looked dope.
Yeah.
And then now this one, I'm like,
that looks dope. I gotta get this one too.
It looks dope, but I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna. I mean, again, if it's 150, maybe. Anything above that, I'm just gonna wait.
All right. Well, last piece of news for this week, man, is we got a new launch trailer for The Last of Us Remake, and we also got a trailer for the show. A short, tiny little teaser trailer. A new trailer was shown for Last of Us Part 1, which as we inch closer to the September 2nd release day. So again, it was just showing us more story. It's being like, hey, this is actually a full-fledged remake. It looks good. Are you gonna get it, or you're not gonna get it?
No, we talked about this. I'm not getting it. I'm not the target audience for this, even though I am a huge Last of Us fan. It's just I played it twice. I think I'm on my 3rd playthrough if I play this one.
Yeah, and we're gonna play this is the more important thing, is the actual
this is juicy topic,
show, which I think they hit it pretty well. I think I forget the actor's name. Pedro. I think it's Pedro.
You have no idea what
Pascal. I think it's Pedro Pascal. Yeah.
Yes.
He is killing it as Joel. He like has his look down. I think they did a really good job casting him.
I think they did too. I'm not quite certain about Ellie though. I don't know. I don't know who that actor is, but I don't know if she's gonna really hit the notes of like how Ellie is portrayed in the game. I know this is a kind of it's not a 1-to-1, right? They're kind of changing things up a little bit with this iteration of The Last of Us. But something about her character and the way she's portraying Ellie just doesn't sit well with me for some reason. Other than that, all the other characters, everybody else that's been on the show or on that teaser, spot on. Like I'm like, yeah, this is great. But Ellie, for some reason, just doesn't sit well for me. For some reason, I don't know if you feel the same way.
I think I would have agreed with you if I didn't see her in other things, but she is in other stuff that I've seen before. I don't know if it was a show or a movie, but she's been
in the Game of Thrones too, right?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know.
She was the little queen, I thought.
I think you're right. Was she? Yeah, I think you're right. I think she was a little queen. Yeah, I think you're right. But like she's that. So I think she's a great enough range to play Ellie. I know as far as like maybe the look, maybe she doesn't look exactly like Ellie, which is probably what's throwing you off. But I think it's still gonna be perfect. And that's the thing. I think what happens with video games is if they don't cast a character that looks exactly like the video game character, you're automatically it's wrong. This is not right. You did it wrong. You already fucked up. But that's not the case a lot of times. Like they could still kill it. You know what I mean? Like it could still. If they're that good of an actor, it doesn't matter what they look like, as long as they basically envelop that character and become that character, then it doesn't matter.
As it needs to sit well. The two actors need to kind of have this communication on scene. And I think from what again, what makes this show like I'm like 100% confident that this is going to be a great show is that Neil Druckmann is kind of like overseeing this, and he's like really involved in this. And I think the fact that HBO is actually really pushing this, like they're advertising this a lot, kind of gives me confidence that they feel like this is going to be a good show. This is going to be something well worth watching. Otherwise, and I'm glad that HBO actually is
I trust HBO. Too, I trust HBO.
If it was Peacock, I'd be like, yeah.
Oof. If it was one of those, no, another Halo situation, But HBO usually tends to pick up shows that it knows is going to do well. Speaking of that, I watched the new Game of Thrones. I think you watched it.
Yeah,
fire, literally.
Fire.
Literally
good. Fire.
Welcome back, Game of Thrones. We missed you very much.
Yeah, and I didn't think I would want this. I thought when I first heard about this show, I'm like, another like iteration is going to be, it's a prequel. Oh god, like here we go, they're trying to squeeze as much as they can out of this. But no, it's actually pretty good. I'm actually interested, I'm invested, and I want to see what happens. So yeah, good job.
Yeah. Guys, that concludes the news for the week. I know we went kind of like overboard with the news, but Gamescom, basically there was a lot of stuff happening. So this is usually we're a little slower than news in the summer, right? During the end of the summertime. Yeah. But like Gabe was just like, here you go. Here's all the news that we saved up for you for this time. So
yeah.
Before we go, we're gonna do in-game chat. And basically our topic for in-game chat is, will there be less exclusives in the future? Phil Spencer, Microsoft CEO, said in a recent interview with Bloomberg that games being made available on multiple systems was better for the long-term health of the industry than products being tied to a single platform. Console exclusives are something we're just going to see less of, and that's what the Microsoft chief predicted. Do you think he's onto something here, or do you think he's wrong? Do you think we're going to see less exclusives moving forward, or it's going to be the same, more? I think we've already seen. I think we're already starting to see less now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're in a weird spot now in the gaming industry where things are starting to mesh. Things are starting to blend in a little bit, right? So it feels like there's. I mean, we're seeing it right now, right? We're seeing how, especially Microsoft is doing a phenomenal job of like pushing the industry forward and making this like breaking that barrier from Sony and Microsoft, and just kind of building that relationship with the players as well, right? And building that relationship with the other companies, Microsoft and even Nintendo, and they're making things free to play. They're making things cross-platform. And that is the beginning of what he's talking about, I think, right? And even Sony's on board. Sony, I feel like, is a weird one where they don't want to play nice. In the grand scheme of things, they don't want this to happen. They don't want to have cross-play, but they kind of are forced to, right? Their cards are kind of like they want to have their cards close to their chest, but with Microsoft kind of pushing the industry the way they are, that's kind of causing this steer in the industry into a different direction where Sony is like, shit, man, like we don't want to do this, but we have to, because they, like, Microsoft looks like the good guys. We have to play nice. So now they're kind of like, hey guys, like we're doing cross-platform or cross-platform, and we're playing nice with PC now. We're bringing our AAA games to PC now,
right? So
it makes them look like the good guy, and they have to play nice, because that's where the industry is going, and I think that's what Phil's trying to do, and it's working. I think it's going to be great. I think it's great for everybody. Like there's now the time has come where, like, I was playing Multiverses on my PS5. You were playing on your PC. No headaches. I don't want to deal with the fact that, I don't have the same.
That, right?
Yeah, I don't have the same box that you don't. The same console that you do.
At the end of the day, it's like preference. Like I like the UI. Like you look at like Mac and Windows. They both do the same thing. They both connect you in the same way, right? Like you're still going internet. You're still using it for word processing, right? It's just preference at that point. But they're both doing the same thing and connecting you the same way.
Right.
So for consoles to not take suit of that is just like it's just inconvenience to people, right? And I think you hit the nail on that. I think too, he's like, hey Sony, I have Call of Duty. I have Call of Duty. You don't. So you better play nice, because then you don't get it. And that would be a huge blow to them. You know what I mean? If they what's their best shooter on Sony right now? Like it's Killzone.
Sony right now? Do they have a best shooter right now? It's
right. I think it was like Killzone was like their thing, but they don't have a shooter.
I mean, honestly, they have Destiny, I guess, if you want to say that.
Yeah, Destiny's probably the bigger one. But
CJ makes a great point, though. They were the last people to kind of play nice with Fortnite, right? Remember that back in the day where Fortnite, everybody was trying to be all cross-platform, right? And then Sony was kind of like hesitant of doing that, and they did something where they kind of reverted, not allowing Epic to allow Microsoft and all the other consoles to kind of play nice, sort of. So that was kind of like a big thing, right? And then they kind of had their cards shown, and they're like, you know what, shit, we have to do this because they're getting a lot of bad press, and it just looked bad for them. So that's what I mean when I say Sony is like one of the oddballs in this, where they're like, damn it, like we have to play nice. Like we're looking like the bad guy now because Microsoft is looking like this great like company right now because we're trying to like push the industry forward right now.
But you also, like, CJ makes a good point. The exclusive would be giving early access to Xbox, where like right now they're like, we have Elder Scrolls, we have Redfall, or is it Redfield? Not Redfall. No, Starfield.
Yeah, but there's also a Redfall, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's that vampire weird game. I think whatever.
Yeah.
But regardless, they have those games, and they're like, well, these are Xbox exclusives for now. Mm-hmm. They might come out for the other things. So it's kind of one of those things where like he could say that, but they're also buying all these different game companies, and they're like you're still kind of being exclusive if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to, you could do that. And I feel like if Sony doesn't want to play nice, to be like, all right, fine, then you don't get it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. CJ says, I need Sony to make Discord connection like Xbox. Facts, dude. I want that so bad. I'm thinking, and we talked about this in our previous episodes as well, but I'm literally thinking that Sony has, because they do have a relationship with Discord. They do have a partnership with Discord that is different than what Microsoft has. I think they're building an actual app for PlayStation to kind of incorporate into their UI. That's my guess. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I can see that happening sometime in next year. That's why there's like no talk about it, because they mentioned it in the beginning of this year where they were making some kind of like, app or something with Discord. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I think with the conversation, I think there's enough exclusives right now that it still feels like you could be a fanboy of that thing. For example, like God of War, right? Is like that will never be an Xbox thing. It strictly will always be Sony, right? Same thing with Halo. Halo will always be an Xbox thing. So there's definitely IPs that are like untouchable, where like that's where they live, and that's how it's going to be for the end of time. But for the most part, I feel like any type of like multiplayer game should probably be put them on. I'll put them on both. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is where the industry is shifting, man. And there's no stopping. And now the real question is here. This is what's happening now, right? This is what this generation is giving us. We're getting these cross-platform abilities to play games anywhere you want, no matter where. It doesn't matter. What's going to happen PS6? Like, the new Xbox, are they going to continue that? Are they going to continue that cross-platform change and revolution in the gaming industry? Or are they going to revert back to, hey guys, the PS6 is coming out, unfortunately we're not going to be doing cross-platform, it's going to be strictly PS5, we're not going to be bringing our games to PC? Like, I feel like they can't backtrack, right? Like that can't happen.
No, and it's just another evolution of the gaming industry, right? It's just like we saw with PS3 to PS4. As far as like online goes, it's just not the next step into it, basically. You don't go backwards, you don't take it away, because what happens, you piss people off, then you're like, all right, well the other one offers it, so bye.
Right.
So
we're definitely heading in the right direction, and I'm all for where we're going right now.
Yeah, I do like it being a preference thing versus this one is better because it has these games. You know what I mean? I think it should always be like that. I think you should have the freedom to choose where you're going to play.
And I think Microsoft, again, they're doing the right thing where they have Game Pass and they have it anywhere. You can play the Game Pass literally anywhere you want. Phone, TV at some point. I think that's happening soon. Console, PC, like anywhere you want. And I feel like that is the right way to do it. If you don't have the console, you can still play their games. Sony, I think, will be doing that at some point. Maybe not exactly how Game Pass is doing it, but they have to kind of like they're kind of forced to move forward with how the industry is changing. So we'll probably see some type of iteration at that at some point.
Yeah, and again, I think Discord is a huge key to this because we need one unified app to connect all of these people together to speak into those rooms, because the chat communication right now is kind of like wonky, where like if you are playing Xbox, you do playing cross-platform, you can't really communicate with that person. That's really hard to, unless you do the in-game chat. But Discord, I think, is a huge player here. I think they're going to be the unifier of worlds when it comes to this, for online playing.
I'm going to bring it to existence. CJ, bring it to existence. Like, I want Discord on PS5, like implemented fully. Don't want any hassles. Just give it to me. Just fucking give it to me.
For sure. So, Phil Spencer, I think you are on the money. I agree with you. I think that exclusives, we will be seeing like exclusives as we go on. Will they be entirely gone? No, but it's definitely like the console wars are kind of like past us at this point now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, that's it for an in-game chat. We have one more segment before we go, and that is Would You Rather. I'm going to ask you the first Would You Rather.
Okay, let's do it.
Which game would you rather? Actually, you should ask me this one. Ask me this one.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Which game would you have rather canceled? Let me say that again. Which game would you have rather canceled? Final Fantasy Crisis Core or Final Fantasy Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 7 Reunion? Is that the full title of the game? That's wild if it is.
I think it's just Final Fantasy Reunion.
Okay. But it's Crisis Core. I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 7 Reunion, which is a Crisis Core remake, or Final Fantasy 16. So which one would you rather have canceled?
Oh, that's easy. Final Fantasy Crisis Core Reunion.
Really?
Yeah, because it already came out. Crisis Core is already a thing. Final Fantasy 16 is not a thing yet. Actually, It's kind of a weird question because, like, if there was no Final Fantasy 16, then, like, the Final Fantasy would be done. Because, like, what do you do? Skip to 17?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I guess.
Well, so here's my thought process, because I know you love Crisis Core back when you played on the PSP, right? Like, that was, like, one of your biggest.
Yeah,
like,
it's probably the best
raved
game on
about
PSP.
It.
Yeah.
And you kept telling me to play it. I'm like, dude, I don't have a fucking PSP. Like, give me a PSP and I'll play it. So that's why I put that in there. And then Final Fantasy 16 coming out soon. I'm like, well, would he rather play that beloved game, or would he rather play a game that is not out yet but is very interesting? It seems very high praised. Like, which one would you rather do? So you're saying Final Fantasy 16 would be your choice?
Yeah, because I already
to cancel.
To not have canceled.
To not have canceled. So you want
Yes.
Crisis Core to cancel because you've already played it.
Yes.
Got it.
It would suck for people that haven't experienced that game, and it would be the best way to experience that game. But
yeah,
I love Final Fantasy. I like any new Final Fantasy. I'm all for it, and I always see the next iteration of it.
Yeah.
Because they're always memorable. You always remember every single Final Fantasy comes out because obviously, they do what they do, and I think if you were to say like Crisis Core, I'd be like Final Fantasy 16, hands down. Like that game is. I still think you should just play it. Like, just play on PSP.
Well, so this is my thing. If I were to choose, should I pick 16 or should I pick Crisis Core? CJ, you're cheating. You can't pick both. Sorry.
You cheater. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think if I go based off of what you're saying,
which one are you getting canceled?
I might, if I'm going based off what you're saying you're raving how you're saying Crisis Core was the best. Like, it made you cry, dude. Like, you literally had tears. I might do Final Fantasy 16 and have that canceled just to play the ultimate, like the definitive version of Crisis Core. If I'm going based on what you're saying.
Crisis Core gives you the complete package of Final Fantasy VII. Once you play Crisis Core, you really start to understand the story and lore of Final Fantasy VII. It's basically the prequel, and it kind of makes you be like, oh, okay, this is why this person's like this, and this is how the events happen. And it's really cool. Like, I remember when I first played it, I'm not even trying to overhype it. It's just the story is very, very well written. And
yeah. No, I believe you. That's why I think that's my answer. I think I'm gonna pick Final Fantasy 16 to be canceled. Again, I've not played the game, so I don't really have any ties to it. But from what you're saying, Crisis Core is like top notch, right? At least I have a basis out of that. For all we know, Final Fantasy 16 could suck. It could be terrible.
It's not. We know it's
doubt
not
it. It's not going to. But hey, man, you never know. You know what I mean? So I'm going with Crisis Core. I'm playing that. I'm canceling Final Fantasy 16.
Okay. Would you rather listen to a Hideo Kojima podcast or a Masahiro Sakurai one?
That's an excellent question. So you're saying Sakurai will have his podcast as well, not his YouTube, YouTube
he would have
channel?
a podcast instead.
Would I rather listen to Hideo or Sakurai?
You'd rather hear about Hideo talk about Metal Gear in its time at developing Metal Gear, or Sakurai in its time developing Super Smash Brothers? That's a really good question. I love this question.
That's a good question, dude. Good job.
Who could you sit? You're in your car and just listen and just be lost.
Chazzy says, "My man, Sack. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is tough. I think it would depend on what their content is. If Hideo Kojima is focusing on not even much on Metal Gear Solid, but like if he's focusing on what's in his fucking head, and it just tells us like what his thought process is of like, this is how I develop a game. This is what I think about. This is what comes into my mind when I'm writing down like each character arc, or this is what I thought about when I was developing this part of the scene, but then it changed. Like if he's going into that detail, I would probably pick Hideo, because I think Hideo would have so much more in his brain to like really like throw out there. Sakurai, again, that would
but you would be able to hear
second.
the decisions at Nintendo of like how they pick their characters and DLC characters. Like that's really cool. Like how like Sora came to be, how Bayonetta, like they're both equally.
That's true.
Great, but you also do get the. I think Kojima's more in line with pop culture.
Yeah.
So he would be more relatable in a sense to like current events, whereas I feel like Sakurai might be just all about games. So you're still picking Kojima?
I'm picking Hideo Kojima. Side project. Chazzy writes in. He says, with Kojima, it's inevitable we're going to get talk about the walking simulator. And it's like, first I decide we will walk. Then I decided, ready, we'll strafe to the right.
Exactly. And it would make it sound perfect. Like that was said perfectly. Yeah.
But then there's other aspects to Hideo where he's pop culture, like you said. He loves to talk about The Boys. He loves to talk about any movie that he's talking about. So I feel like all that combined, it would just be an entertaining episode, and entertaining podcast in general. I'm not saying Sakurai won't. I'm not saying Sakurai would have a lot of knowledge. Again, he's doing a YouTube channel that I'm like all for. Like he has great thoughts to like give out to the gaming industry and to us and all that stuff. So that would be interesting as well. I just think Hideo would be just a little bit more interesting to listen to.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I'm gonna go with Sakurai as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm sorry, Hideo as well.
Hideo.
Because last would you rather before we leave is if you had to erase Kingdom Hearts 3 or Persona 5 from existence, which one would you pick to erase? Doesn't exist anymore.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's gone. It's gone forever. Wow.
I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, but you're bringing it up to Persona 5, dude. Like that's a masterpiece. Kingdom Hearts 3, although I love it dear to my heart, it's not a masterpiece. You know,
It's not a masterpiece, and you made us wait too fucking long. You made us wait too fucking long for the game. So if you would have just came out with it earlier, maybe we wouldn't have said that. But fuck you, fucking no more for fucking making us wait so long for that damn game. And if I came out, we're like, oh,
it breaks me to say it, but yeah, Persona 5, I would definitely keep. Kingdom Hearts 3, I think we could do without Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yep, I'm gonna pick the same. Persona 5 is a literal masterpiece. That game is fucking immaculate.
Yeah,
Kel, sure. This was a long one. This was a long one today.
It was great though. I had fun.
Good conversation. It's been a long time since we talked, because I literally feel like it's been like a month since I've been on. I felt like I was gone in Morocco for over a month.
Yeah,
even though it was just like a week. But guys, thank you so much for listening. For all of our live viewers, thank you so much for chiming in. Chazzy, CJ, from what I can see right now, thank you guys so much. It really does make this so much more interesting to do and exciting. And we're having a conversation. That's what we want to do. Like, please, as long as you can, just like come and chime in and just have a conversation with us. Seriously.
100%, dude. Yep.
Awesome. You guys can support us over at our Patreon at patreon.com/thegamingduo. We have a website. If you want to be a guest, there's a form to fill out there. You can actually fill it out and become a guest on the show. We have guests probably once or twice every month, and it's always a good time. So go ahead. Leave us a like on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you can. And this is important too, guys. Leave us a 5-star review on
very important
Spotify and Apple. It's extremely important. All right. Patreon, great. We would love that. But the 5-star review, that's where it really helps us. So if you guys could just do that, we would appreciate it. Again, Kelvin, anything else before we go?
Yeah, we are doing a tournament side with the Genre Geeks podcast. And so if you're a podcaster, if you're listening out there, and if you're a podcaster, definitely check out the forum. You could find it on our Instagram at the Gaming Duo Pod, or on Genre Geeks Instagram as well. You can find it there. It's going to be a tournament for the Multiverses game that we've been raving about and talking about for like a month now at this point. And yeah, if you want to be a part of it, definitely do so. You can definitely chime in, or if you just want to watch, I think we're not going to do a live stream or anything like that, but I'm sure we'll post something about it.
Record it probably. We'll probably
record at some point. So definitely chime in if you want to, and it'll be a blast. It's going to happen at some point in September. I would say the second week of September. So look forward to that. We'll post everything on our socials, but just look forward to that because it's happening it's happening within the next few weeks. So.
Yeah, so there you guys go. Please sign up for the tournament, and so me and Kelvin kick your ass, basically.
Yep, 100%.
So, yep. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.